Hi guys, I'm Demetria, a business coach for women and female entrepreneurs, and I blog over at demetriazinger.com. Today I'm going to talk about time management tips for business women and mompreneurs. If this sounds like something you want to hear about, how to manage your time, then stay tuned. So let's be honest, friends, we are busy people. And even though my audience is mostly women in business and mompreneurs, this can help anybody who is in online business. So if you are running your business, you're probably also managing a host of other things in your life. How do you do it all? I have tips for you that I hope will be very helpful to you, and they're quite practical. So you should be able to immediately see some results from them. And the first tip that I have for you is to set goals. Now, I am a do things ahead of time kind of person, and I am a checklist kind of person. So some of you might be a little bit more type A like me, and some of you may be a little bit more wing it kind of people. But either way, no matter your style, no matter your personality, you still have to do one very important thing. You have to set goals. I completely encourage you to go ahead and set those goals before you get started doing anything so that you're really intentional about what you want to do. You don't just want to start working on a vast array of projects and just kind of figuring out what to do next based on how you feel. I totally recommend writing out your goals way ahead of time. That way you already know what you're planning to do. And I recommend doing that a week at a time and a month at a time. So behind me is my monthly calendar at a glance on the wall. It's even on my Google Calendar where I practically run my life, but I have to have it somewhere visible. So I've chosen my wall. You can choose anything you want as long as it's visible and in front of you, and you can see kind of your month at a glance. Now, if you're not at the point yet where you're ready to plan out your entire month's worth of content and tasks and goals, then I recommend you take it small chunks at a time and just narrow that down to 1 week. What do you plan to get done this week? You want to make sure that you're creating goals for yourself that are SMART goals. SMART, S-M-A-R-T. And each letter stands for something really important. So the S stands for specific. You want to make sure that your goals are specific, they're simple, and they're significant. So you want to make sure that when you're planning a goal that you're not vague. So get very specific. If your goal is to create 10 blog posts this entire week, and that's a lot of blog posts to create in a week, by the way. But if that were your goal, then that's a very specific goal. M is for measurable. Okay, so in your SMART acronym, M is for measurable. You want to be able to measure that goal. Did you accomplish that goal at the end of the week? Make sure that your goal is meaningful as well, and make sure that it's motivating. So, can you measure your goal? Does it have meaning? Do you feel motivated by your goal? And all of these things are going to help you move towards accomplishing that goal for this week. So if you were going to do 10 blog posts this week, you are specific about the amount. You can measure how many you were able to accomplish. A is for achievable. You want to make sure that you can attain. It's attainable. That is not something so far reaching. So can you really do 10 blog posts in 1 week? Or should you shoot for maybe 5 or even 3 or 2, better yet? And you can definitely grow your blog just creating 1 blog post a week. Because if you choose to create 1 blog post a week and you do that over the course of 52 weeks in a year, you would have achieved 52 blog posts, which is a lot of blog posts. So either way you look at it, if you take your time and pace yourself according to what's attainable for you, then that is the best way to go for your goals. You don't want to create a goal that's not achievable for you. Maybe achievable for a team of people working with you, but not you by yourself. So really think about what you can afford to attain and achieve on your own as a solopreneur. R stands for relevant. Is it reasonable? Is it results-based? Is it realistic? Can you reasonably do what you've asked yourself to do? Okay. And is your goal relevant to what you're really trying to achieve overall? So in creating 10 blog posts, Is that really what you need to be doing? Or is it just a number you threw out there, a random number? So think of a number that means something to you. Maybe if you achieve create one blog post a week for 52 weeks, you've accomplished your goal of getting the amount of traffic that you need to your website so you can start building out your business within 1 year. That is very achievable, and it is relevant to your situation, especially if you're a busy person like most of us are. And I usually coach women and entrepreneurs who are female creatives who are super busy with family and volunteering in their community, and organizations have a lot on your plates. So you really have to be reasonable and relevant and achievable. The T is for time bound. You have to have a specific time that you want to be done. There needs to be a time base and a time limit. You can't let this thing go on forever and ever, else it's not a goal that is really achievable, right? So I want you to make sure that you're doing SMART goals when you're goal planning. Number 2, the second thing that you should do in making sure that you manage your time well is to be sure to have a business plan in place. So all those goals we just talked about, it means nothing without an overall plan. So you need to have a plan for your year, preferably, that is going to help you create that online content to bring those visitors back to your website in order to grow your business so you can see some achievable results. So that all starts with a plan. We want to have an annual plan, and it doesn't have to get specific until you get to the week and the month that you're actually in, but you want to have an overall general annual plan as far as your topics and your content, because your content is the core of your business. So make sure you have a plan in place for your online business for the year. Number 3, the third thing to do is to make sure that you figured out when you're going to do all of these things related to your online business. When are you going to get these tasks taken care of? When are you going to accomplish those goals? When are you actually going to do the work? So if that's a big question for you because you can't see where you would fit that time in, you really have to think strategically. If you have kids at home, like I have over the years, I still have one at home now. So if you have little ones at home, then I totally feel what you're going through. I think that you're going to have to choose either to get up earlier in the morning or go to bed later at night, or work around your children's schedules. Either they're at school, or if they're home, you may have to pick nap times or allow them to have some time alone without mom, without your interaction with them, so that you can work on your business. And that might mean that you have to bring in a sitter or have somebody watch over your kid for a few hours while you work. Whatever the case is, you have to figure out what that means for you. But for some of us, that actually means going to bed a little bit later or waking up super early. In my case, I wake up very, very early. Some mornings I wake up at 5:30. Most mornings I wake up at 6:30 and I start my work. I get a lot of my work done in the wee hours of the morning, and it's super helpful to know that that time is set aside just for work. So that's how I accomplish my goals, by getting up early in the morning. Number 4, prioritize. You have to decide what activities you're going to do and when. So is it important for you to create the blog post or record the podcast episode? Or is it more important that you work on your activities that will help your client that you're coaching? Maybe you're creating a workbook, or maybe you are putting some time aside to help them with their coaching. So whatever you choose to do, you have to prioritize what tasks and activities are important. What's more important than others, and make a list of things that you're going to do first. So the most important things typically come first, and then all the things that you can kind of fit under the umbrella of not as important but still needs to be done, you can put them further down the list, so you don't have to put so much emphasis on those things. But you want to prioritize those activities that are going to bring you the income, that are going to make you the money, so that you have an actual business. Again, if your podcasting is not quite at a point yet where you're able to build an income from that, or if you're blogging is not quite there yet. And if you are getting most of your income from your coaching, I recommend putting most of your energy there and then making sure that on the back end that you are still continuing to add content for your podcast and your blog and not putting all of your eggs in one basket. So make sure not all of your energy is going to those things that aren't generating an income. Put those lower down the priority list. Number 5, set boundaries. Now, we already talked about how to manage that space with your children. Again, this is about setting boundaries with not just your kids, but with everybody. If you don't have children, then you have boundaries you have to set with maybe family members. That can mean with your family or friends or neighbors or even with yourself, because maybe for some of us, we have to put boundaries around ourselves so that we don't end up doing activities that are unimportant for the time being because we need to get our work done. So set boundaries in place and know that I will not do anything past this time. So I'm blocking off these hours and this is my boundary. Beyond that, I'm not working on anything else except this particular thing at the moment. So those are the kind of boundaries sometimes we have to set. And sometimes we have to tell people that, hey, I'm going to be a bit busy between the hours of 1 and 4 p.m. But afterward, I can hang out with you and we can do things together. So it's just all about knowing what your boundaries are and communicating that well with the people you love and the people that are in your life. Number 6, you need to invest that time upfront in organizing your space. So you want to make sure that as a woman entrepreneur who's usually taking care of family things such as meal planning and meal prep, you want to make sure that you have all that stuff ready to go so that you're not surprised every day when it's time to cook a meal and you don't know what you're supposed to cook because you've been so busy with working all day. So simple things like home management, the laundry, and the routines around the home, as well as anything you have to do outside of the home regarding your children, picking them up from school, those kinds of things, just staying really organized with your time so you know what you're doing and when. I like to keep menus. I like to know what I'm cooking when so I can thaw everything that I need the night before in the fridge if it's meat or something like that. And it can be ready to go either in a crock pot or just ready to zip into the oven really quick because it's already prepped, or because I already just know what I'm going to cook and what the recipe is. So I just know how to cook it quickly. So it's really important that you invest some time up front in organizing. You might need to invest in some apps that can help you with menu planning or shopping, crockpot cooking and recipes, getting your kids, if you have children, involved in chores and creating chore charts. So everybody is involved in the home management and scheduling out that time in advance for running your business, meeting with clients, knowing a week ahead of time what you're doing so that you're not last minute on everything. That is going to keep you sane. It definitely keeps me sane. I like to use the Google Shopping app I think it's the Google Shopping list. And I just add all of my items there that I need so that when I go shopping, I just check it off and it's really simple and easy. And I keep the same list running every week and just add new things as I need to. Number 7, when you're working, make sure to break up your scenery because it is so boring to be cooped up in the same room all day long. I am definitely getting out of this room in a couple of minutes when I'm done recording this video, and I'm going to take a walk. And not only will I take a walk, but I'll get into my workout clothes and I'll go to the gym. So those are the kinds of things we need to do to just break up your scenery. Whatever it is you need to do, go do that. Have a break in your day and don't feel like you have to be glued to your computer all day long because it's just not healthy. Now, number 8, make time for family a priority. Here I'm talking mainly to mompreneurs or women in business who understand that it is so important to really make sure that you have that foundation in place for your home life so you keep that family balance. So I want you to just really consider that with family, we got to keep that number 1. If that's my opinion, I think family is always number 1. I think for a lot of female creatives, when we are building our own unique brand and sometimes even doing that from home, it definitely puts a spin on business and family. That whole dynamic completely shifts and changes because we're actually working from home. So that makes things a little bit different where we have to set boundaries and keep things a little bit more separated. It can get very intricate and we just have to be careful not to have too much blending. Family is family, business is business. So when family needs us, they need us. We need to give them our attention. To your children, your spouse, anybody in your family, they need your time, they need your attention, they need your affection. It's really, really important to set aside time and not be so crazy in love with your business building activities that you forget about them because they need you. Number 9, you don't just want to only not forget about your family, but you don't want to forget about yourself either. So set aside some you time. Again, this is also kind of going into the whole taking a break. But this is more than just taking a break. This is taking time out for yourself. Pamper yourself. Do your nails, do your makeup, do your hair, watch a Netflix movie, do something relaxing, drink your coffee, drink your tea, get on the phone with a friend, have a good time with a girlfriend, just go out, get out of the house, enjoy your life. There's so much in life to enjoy. And you can do that and you can enjoy yourself when you make time for yourself a priority. And number 10, because you're able to make time for yourself, you're also able to say no. It's really easy. And yet it's really hard for so many of us. So when we're asked to do things that we're not able to do, again, remember boundaries. So sometimes we have to say no, and that's okay. Say it. It's very easy. Say no when you need to say no. If someone says, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you come over here and do this? Can you bring this over to me? Can you run this errand for me? Can you be a part of this activity, a part of this function? And you just don't feel like it should be on your agenda because you're feeling overwhelmed, then if you're overwhelmed, you're probably needing to say no. So I invite you to say no and say it nicely and say it, with dignity, but say no if you need to say it. It's okay. It's really okay. And if the people who are asking you to do things that you feel incapable of doing really care anything about you, they will understand and they won't be upset with you. Okay. So you have to take care of yourself. And part of that is learning to say no. In business, we have to say no a lot because we have to be very strategic about our time and how we go about doing things. All right. So that's what I have for you today. We do have an episode on my podcast that I want you to hear. It is episode number 4 with Stephanie Cicerelli of voices.com. And she's also talking about that family business balance. So I would love for you to hear that interview, and I hope that you'll come to listen to my podcast at demetriazinga.com. Click on podcast and you will find that interview with Stephanie Cicerelli. I really enjoyed talking to her and I hope you enjoy it too. All right, that's all I have for you today. Have a good week and I'll see you next time. Bye.